Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Victory Tuesday today. I had to give my voice a couple of days to rest because, as you know, my wife and my best friend and I were at the game, and it got really loud, of course, knowing Bills fans, and I lost my voice pretty bad, so just gave it a couple of days off. Let's just start off with another dominant victory, 40-0, 2 shutouts in the last 3 weeks, and that just speaks for itself. I know people want to say, it's the Texans, they stink, blah, blah, blah. You know how hard it is to limit a team to 0 points in the NFL, whether they're the worst team in the league or not. People just, it just blows my mind. Oh, they stink, of course. You're supposed to do that. But 40-0, that's like not even a field goal. These are the best of the best players. So, yeah, they stink, but to shut them out, that just goes to show how great this defense is playing. They're playing at a historic level. I'm just going to go say that, because 2 shutouts in 3 weeks. What was it, 2001 when the Ravens went to the Super Bowl was the last time a team shut out two teams in a year. Absolutely crazy. I'm going to start off saying what a great experience that was. My wife loved it. It was her first game. It was my first game in about 12 years. And I miss it still. I feel like I want to just rewind the clock back to the game. It was just such a great experience. But I got there pretty early and started tailgating, of course. Went and saw Pinto Ron, went to the shops, walked around a bit. And then about 11:45, we went into the stadium, watched the practice, warm up. Stephon Diggs was playing catch with the kids, which was great to see. I was at the 9th row, so it was just fun to watch. I knew he wasn't going to throw me the ball, but I was like, yo, Diggs, hit me deep. But, of course, he didn't. Well, it was just for the kids. It was nice. But then it rained all day, so, that wasn't fun. But once the game started, even though it was raining, it was just incredible. I couldn't say any more great things about it. It was just a perfect time. I can't wait to go again. How about Boogie Basham? Finally was elevated to play, after being inactive for 3 weeks. And we're like, when's Boogie going to come out? When's the Boogeyman going to be here? And he came out, and he had a sack, his first NFL sack. And it was a good one, too, because he didn't give up. He went to the quarterback, he shook him a little bit, and then instead of, oh, man, I missed, let me try, he just full speed kept going and then wrapped him up and got him down by the 1 for his first sack. And it was just absolutely awesome to watch. Also, you got to give the whole defensive line, obviously the whole defense in general, but the defensive line as a whole unit, they set the line of scrimmage in the backfield. They just, at Oliver and Star Lotulelei, were blowing up plays left and right. It was the first or second play of the game at Oliver was basically untouched with a tackle for a loss. And it was just watching him and Star go from the interior, causing so much havoc. It was very promising to watch, and I knew that both of them could do that. And people were calling out Oliver a bust last year, but he's a 9th overall pick for a reason. He's one of my favorite players. Defense had 5 total turnovers, 4 interceptions, and a forced fumble. And watching all those turnovers, you're just like, well, can we get more? Can we get 7? Can we get 8? Or is there going to be some record today? But it seemed like every time Davis Mills got pressured and Brandon Cooks wasn't open, he just chucked the ball up. And then we have a lot of ball hawks on our team. Jaquan Johnson got his first pick. Tremaine Edmonds got a pick. Tyler Radekevich got a pick. Micah Hyde got a pick. And then Cam Lewis got a forced fumble, when he started in the nickel slot for Teron Johnson, who was inactive for the game. And it was just awesome seeing all these backups be able to go in, and we didn't miss a beat. Watching all these guys go in, we had 4 people go in that weren't normal starters, and you start to think, about the chemistry aspect of it all. But like I said, they didn't miss a beat, and they forced turnovers, and they made plays. They played hard and fast. And seeing it live is so much different than on TV. Of course, it's fast on TV, but when you're watching it live, you're just like, wow, this is incredible how these guys can do all that. Plus with the weather, too, it just throws a wrench in everything. Running game, Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, and you throw Josh Allen in there too. They combined for 199, and Mitch Trubisky, 199 rushing yards. It was on 40 carries, but it was over 200. But 3 of the carries out of the 40 were Neal's from Mr. Trubisky in victory formation. But Devin Singletary had 14 carries, and Moss also had 14 carries. So, the Bills like to play the hot hand, and they both got a chance to have the hot hand. And Moss had 61 yards and a rushing touchdown. Singletary had 79 yards, and he had a 46-yard run that was taken back on a very weak, ticky-tack hold call on Darrell Williams. But they both ran hard, powerful, strong. You could tell every time they touched the ball, they wanted to take it to the house, and it was just awesome to see our running game come alive. And we had 450 yards of total offense, which was awesome to see. Even with the shuffling, the offensive line performed at a top level. They did end up going with Spencer Brown at right tackle and Darrell Williams into that right guard, which I knew was a possibility, but I really didn't think they would do it. But it looked like it worked out for them because Spencer Brown, as a rookie, he's a monster, 6'8". He really played well for his first start. I mean, I never played offensive line, but I know a little bit about the line, and I'm sure, this offensive line, you can't be perfect at it every play. There's some, every guy has a play or two he wants back in the game, no matter how well he does. But from what I saw, he did excellent, especially in the run blocking. He was just mauling people, pushing them in the dirt, pushing them out of bounds so far before until the whistle blows. And so I'm really looking forward to see what else he brings moving forward, because it looks like that the offensive line that we saw on Sunday is going to be offensive line this coming Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I got some stats for some of the guys today. Josh Allen was 20 for 29, 248 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception with a rating of 103. And the interception was on the first play of the game, and I remember watching it. And before the game started, I'm like, oh, man, it's going to be really hard for everyone to throw, And I really was excited to see just Josh Allen sling the ball around all game. So after the first play, you could tell it was so wet just to control the ball. It was an over-under, or high-low, rather, and he threw it to Diggs, and then he was open, and it just sailed up, interception, but Josh didn't let it deter him. He always does. He bounced back, and then, like I said, 20 for 29, 69% completion, 248 yards, and he got the job done. He did amazing. He had a couple beautiful plays to Diggs. I remember one of them, it was near the end of the game. Allen evaded pressure. Diggs ran out. It was about 30-something yards, and you couldn't place the ball more beautiful. Perfect spiral, perfect speed on the ball. It landed right where it needed to go, even with the weather. So that just goes to show, even with, different terrains, hot, cold, wet, that the Bills can rise to the occasion and dominate a football game. And then we got Diggs. I said he was going to have about 10, 12 receptions, 3 touchdowns, 150 yards. He didn't have that, but he did have a monster day. He had 7 receptions for 114 yards. He got in that century mark at 114 yards. And he's still due for one of those breakout games where he gets 2 or 3 touchdowns, 150 yards. And maybe it'd be this Sunday. It'd be awesome to see. Do we give Dawson Knox enough credit? From his rookie year, his big stipulation was he drops easy passes. Should we even throw him the ball? He was really raw coming out of Ole Miss. He didn't really catch a lot of balls when he was there. But he's doing well this year. This game, he was 5 for 37 with 2 touchdowns. He's got at least 1 touchdown in every game so far. And he's been just a reliable target for Josh Allen. And it was just awesome to see him improve so much with his catching ability. And, when he catches the ball, he can just run someone over. And he's so very athletic. He can make amazing plays. Emmanuel Sanders, 5 for 74. And it seems like after the first couple games, him and Josh finally got that connection that we were waiting to see. And that's another beautiful thing to see, another weapon to add. Tremaine Edmonds, another guy who gets a lot of flack from Bills Mafia, and I don't see the reasons why, because he's the general of our defense. He's the leader. Yeah, sometimes he's got pretty bad play recognition on certain things, but he still leads the team in tackles every year. He still makes a lot of great plays. He puts people where they need to be. Like I say, he's just the general of the defense. He had that interception and 6 total tackles. And then when you go to the team stats, total yards. We had 450 to their 109, and that's just an absurd number. An NFL team was held to 109 total yards of offense. And like you said, or people have been saying, yeah, the Texans stink, but that's very hard. These guys are the best of the best. Even on the worst team, they all want to win. They all want to compete. I don't care what anyone says. Oh yeah, they're one of the worst teams in the league. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. I would like to see our third down efficiency a little bit better. We were 5 for 12. You know, again, conditions. You know, sometimes the ball slips out of hands. You know, and then we had a couple runs that they just played good defense on, and we couldn't get the short yardage. And we go to first downs. We had 26 first downs, and they only had 6. And I think it was the first half. They had it was like 10 total yards of offense. It was just complete and utter domination by the Bills. And like I said, the whole experience, I haven't been to a game in so long, and I couldn't even sleep thinking about going to this one. From start to finish, except for, you know, when we had to leave, it took about 2 hours to leave the parking lot, but that's normal. It was absolutely incredible. Everyone played great. You know, of course, our red zone efficiency wasn't where we took field goals instead of touchdowns more often than not, but you know, I think next week that'll change, because I think, you know, they knew they were the better team, so they may want to try a few different things that they normally wouldn't have tried. I'm not going to speculate, but that's just my opinion. And I think those field goals will turn into touchdowns next week against Kansas City. I'll get more into the Kansas City game when I do my pregame show. And before I head out, just we move on to special teams. We only punted one time, which, you know, as the punter, he's probably like, oh, that's all I have to do today? Awesome. But Tyler Bass, from when we drafted him, I knew he was going to be our next kicker for the future, decade and a half, 2 decades. He just has the leg and the accuracy. Some people just have one accuracy, can't kick that far or kick so far, but don't have a lot of accuracy. And, you know, of course, we like to overreact as fans. And last year in his first game, he missed a field goal and an extra point. And a lot of people were like, oh, why did we draft this kid? You know, obviously there are overreactions because everyone loves him. But he was 4 for 4 field goals and made all of his extra points. And like I said, even with the weather terrain, you know, the pouring rain, ball's always wet, you know, just to see them perform at a high level with the weather conditions, put up 40 points, you know, that's just absurd. 21 points in the fourth quarter. It's overall complete domination on all phases of the ball. Couldn't have asked for a better day. I just want to thank everyone again for tuning in. Keep an eye out for that pregame show I got coming up in a couple days. And remember, go Bills.